Howdy y'all, Jackson here with Dick Studios, and welcome back to another episode of Outside the Hash. It's another great week. We've got some obscure football to go over. So I'm Jackson,
Yeah,
and you guys can introduce yourselves again.
I'm Nate.
Hi, I'm Kyle.
Hi Kyle.
Yep.
Hi Nate. Okay. You guys ready to get into week one, or week two
Oh yeah.
of the best minor league football league?
Absolutely.
So, whose game wants to lead off here?
I got it.
I guess it was Cadillo's week one. Cadillo's Galgos was his first game.
Share screen. All right. So
Your stream. Oh Jesus Christ!
you knew it was coming. So I also have some of my other stuff shared on here as well.
I did not do slideshow for my game recaps, but okay.
Well,
Showing everybody off again, Nate.
Yes, absolutely. I had to. So the two games I covered this week, the Cadillos won 10-3 over the Galgos, and certainly a game that probably should have not been as close as it was, but a couple turnovers from Jeremy Johnson didn't look great. Looked far worse than he did in week one, where he threw like 350 yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns. But defense held strong again, in large part due to the fact that Trayvon Boykin exists. So that's pretty
He's so
much the moral
bad.
of the story of that game. Trayvon Boykin, I don't know how he managed to pull off getting signed by a better team at any point. But so, I mean, not really much to cover here. 10-3, low scoring game. Cadillo scored a touchdown in the third to pull away from that one. And so that's pretty much covering that game. The other game I had to cover is the Mexicas, the Galos Negros. I guess I could just temporarily bring this up. So me and Kyle had a team face each other, and since my team won, I'll be the one that's covering it. So Kyle, there's no point in you going over this game unless if there's something that I didn't hit.
Yeah, something you want to add in?
So just figured I'd bring
We
that
played
up.
like
So
dog water. How about that?
you came back to reality. You came back to reality big time. The Mexicas put up another statement win, just completely outclassed the Galos Negros. Galos Negros actually scored a touchdown at the last second, within the last like 15 or 20 seconds. So really, it was 36-7. So Galos Negros are just facing third stringers basically at that point, Mickey Mouse. But yeah, this game wasn't close at all. I think it might have been tied at the very beginning.
Yeah, it was tied in the first quarter.
We tied
But then the
0-0.
Mexicas, yes, or I thought they both scored a touchdown. I could be wrong. But pretty much beyond that, the Mexicas pulled away and pulled out the easy W. So those are my two teams. Well, I guess technically three, because the Galgos play the Cadillos. But
Yeah, and then the other games are my games too.
so
Yep.
I'll pass the torch over to
Yeah, so
one of
I
you
don't
guys.
get any this week.
Yep, because you're a bunch of losers, Kyle. So my game, my first game was the Rays versus the Raptors. The Rays made the smart decision and they got an import quarterback, Matt Vitale, and he came in and showed why you need an import quarterback as opposed to a national, because that experiment did not work week one. But here in week two, with an import, the Reyes were able to get the W. But, so they were able to start off the scoring in the first after a great punt return, and then the running back Shippey was able to get it in on a fairly big run. Then later, they expanded their lead first by getting Shippey a 50-yard reception, and then they were able to pound it in because he got right up near the line. So it was 13-0 within 5 minutes. The Raptors would get a big play, but end up having to settle for a field goal. And then the Reyes would strike right back, and it would be 19-3 after one. The Raptors would get up near the goal line to start the second, but there would be a goal line stand. But at the end of the second quarter, they were able to get in for a score and make it 19-9. At halftime, in the third quarter was slow, and it stayed like that up until there were 2 minutes left when the Rays just opened up the floodgates and ended up winning that game 33-17. And then the last game of the week, which was on way too late at night for me to even see live.
Ridiculous.
Blowout.
It was the Fundies getting their first week of the first game of the season after their bye week to open it. Thanks, Reds. And they won the game 47-6, but it was actually 6-0 Hefes to start that game because Epler threw a pick six. But so it's 47 unanswered points. The pick six extra point was blocked and almost was returned like 50 yards, so it was all like it was a pretty exciting return that did nothing on the block extra point. But yeah, so Epler is proving why he was the offensive player of the year, throwing for 5 touchdowns, 345 yards, and so in one game he has one more passing touchdown than Trayvon Boykin has interceptions.
Stellar offensive performance.
Stellar, yeah.
It's
almost
points. Good job, guys.
Yeah, and the Hefes played like the Hefes by giving their opponent their bye week.
Pain.
Yeah. So, you guys want to do the power rankings for the LFA? Since everything got blown up.
Do we want to do a preview of next week?
We can do the power rankings and then I'll pull up the schedule.
Yeah. Perfect.
I know for sure the Cadios have a real bye this week, so they won't be playing.
Yeah. The screen one is the screen I want to share.
So they've had 3 byes to start the year.
Okay. Three byes. Alright, so let me pull up. Alright. So we keep in Cadios at 1 then?
Despite how good the Mexicas and Fundidores looked, I think they earned the benefit of the doubt being undefeated last year. They deserve the respect of staying at 1 until someone beats them. So
okay, and the Fundies after their performance, they're
yes,
they're number 2. Easily. I would bump up the Mexicas to 3.
You think so?
The Raptors lost, and the
Raptors lost, and Dino's were on a bye. Mexicas have looked stellar in their first 2 games. They granted they've had to stop their schedule too, but they're getting it done offensively. I would move them up.
Yeah.
So.
Fair.
Okay, and I think the Reyes are at 4 because their offense actually functions now. And they were a 7-win. They were a 7-win team last year.
Their import helped a ton.
I feel like we could be dropping the Dinos a lot by.
Should have played this week.
Well, the Dinos actually lost week 1. Remember, they lost to the Raptors.
True.
We just kept them high because they were in the championship last year.
Oh, fair. Yeah, I let them drop.
Yeah, so I'd go Hefe, or Reyes. Keep saying
the Hefe stay at the end where the Hefes belong.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely belong there.
All right. So we've got the Raptors, the Dinos, the Galos Negros, the Galgos, and the Hefes.
I'd probably put the Raptors. Yeah.
Yeah, Raptors, Dinos, and then just
Dinos.
I would just straight up keep it the same after that.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Then Galos Negros.
Because they at least tried, unlike the Galgos and
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You at least scored multiple touchdowns, Kyle.
Yeah,
Like
I
the other
scored more
two.
than 3 points or 6. How much did we score? 14? Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Which, granted, like I said, within the last 15 seconds of the game,
Well,
but it's still 14 points.
Yeah.
The
It's still more
Galgos
than...
are playing with the biggest handicap in the league, though.
Easily, bar none. Bar none.
I don't know. I think it's a challenge they should be living up to, you know?
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
All right, let me pull over the schedule. Preview week. Goodness, where did it go? Oh, I'm stupid. Okay, now we can pull it over. All right. So, oops. This is week 2.
Galgos at Raptors.
The Raptors, Galgos. Okay.
I have a feeling that's... Yeah.
One of those teams will win.
I think the Raptors are more likely.
Yeah. So, but
Very
we'll
easily.
do the pick 'em we'll do the pick 'em at the end.
Yeah.
So we've got Galgos, Raptors. That's Kyle and that's you, Nate, right? So we got you guys are playing each other. The Mexicas versus the Reyes. So that's me versus you. Okay. And the Gallos Negros versus the Fundies. So I look forward to another bye week for the Fundies.
Yep.
And then the Hefes versus the Dinos.
Dino's got a back-to-back bye weeks. Nice.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll see.
All right, so
Yeah, we will.
Those
I
games
think
are...
the best game of that week is probably Reyes Mexicas. That's the game of the week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty easily. The rest of those games are
pretty one-sided.
Relatively one-sided.
Yeah.
Dino's Hefes might be somewhat close.
I feel like we could get a.
I'm not confident in the Dino's offense, but
I'm not confident in the Hefes at all.
I don't think necessarily they'll win, but I think it's your best chance to win so far, anyway. So
I feel like we could get a Falcons gonna Falcon out of this week.
I hope so.
Perhaps. All right, so
I like how my background's set up, giving me my little Australian ears.
We got that. Yeah. We have ears together, Nate.
Nice.
Where's your ears, Kyle?
Kyle's not a furry, I guess.
Nope.
Sounded kind of straight.
Yeah.
You don't like those
Cringe.
kinds around here.
Cringe.
All right. So on to Major League Rugby Week 2.
Cool.
So we can go over these games. So game 1 was Houston versus Los Angeles. So that is a Nate game.
Yes, sir.
Nate versus nobody. Because nobody had LA.
Yeah, because LA's cringe. Alright. So, Houston took down LA 27-12. It wasn't really that close of a game for the most part. I think I don't even think LA had a lead at any point. But Houston had 4 different guys score multiple tries in this game, with Davey Coetzer leading the way. He had 12 total points. And then the other 3 guys, top performers, I don't remember their names. I just kind of ran out of space to write them down, but had split a try between each other. So pretty one-sided game there. So Houston, I believe, now is 2-0, and I believe that drops LA to 0-2. So that's pretty much that game.
Okay.
And then I guess I could just cover the other 2 here since I have them. Dallas lost to San Diego, sadly, 30-23. Dallas did have the early lead. I think it was like 13-10 7 or 9 or something like that. Dallas did jump up, but it was kind of a back and forth battle, a really close game. So I think I'm not totally certain how much Dallas has improved compared to last year, but or it could just be a factor of San Diego taking a step back, and I think that's probably the more likely scenario.
Yeah, 15-1 is a hard thing to repeat.
Yeah, it also true. And it's also pretty hard to repeat 2-14, but it's certainly easier than trying to go 15-1.
Yeah.
But Dallas is making strides to become a better team, and I think this is a good step in the right direction. They played a competitive game, had a lead at one point. Von Isaacs led their team with 8 points, and 3 others also had a try in this game. So we'll see how Dallas continues throughout the year. Fall to 1-1, and San Diego improves to 1-1. Not that anybody cares because San Diego's cringe. And then last but not least, Anthem loses to NOLA Gold 34-19. Stood no chance in this game, but honestly, that score, thought it was going to be a lot worse. So they improved. They allowed less
Step
points
in the right direction.
They allowed less points than last week and scored more points than last week. So they're making strides toward getting their first win in franchise history. Shane Berry and 2 others scored a try in the loss. Anthem, very, very good chance they'll probably only win less than 3 or 4 games. So NOLA with that win moves to 2-0. So so those are my rugby games. And,
all right.
So I'll stop streaming here.
I guess Kyle has a win, and then I have 2 wins. So I'll do mine first, I guess.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I only have 1, and it's against the other team.
Goodness sakes.
Yeah.
Kyle's down bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I beat
Yeah.
Kyle in one of them.
Anything.
So
Yeah, I'm pretty upset about that game.
So
Jackson, I hate this rule. We should make Kyle cover everything.
Yeah.
A disappointing loss.
Everything
for
will
me.
become opposite day, and then Kyle has to do everything. Yep.
I agree. I agree.
But so I had Utah versus Chicago was my first game. That game was actually close for 60 minutes before Utah was able to pull away. The game ended up being 29-15. The scoring was split amongst 5 players pretty evenly for Utah, and then all 15 points were spread between 3 players for Chicago. And they were actually even on passes. They had the same. Both teams had the same amount of passes. The real difference was the conversion rate, where that Utah was able to get 75%. Chicago was only able to hit half on their attempts. And then my other game was a runner-up, a close second to perhaps the Falcons gonna Falcon, but not the Falcons gonna have Falcon of this week, of the New England Free Jacks versus Old Glory. A game that ended up being 35-34, but was not something anybody would have predicted watching that game, because at 49 minutes 23 seconds, the Free Jacks actually had a 29-14 lead, and that they would have another bigger lead later. Not it's a smaller lead, but they'd have a 2-try lead later in the game as well. But the game would come down to extra time when the Old Glory was able to put it over for a try, and they had to hit a convert to win. They made it 33-34, and they would hit that convert to win the game as time expired, 35-34. All right. And that just leaves your game, Kyle.
All right, so I had the Seattle Seawolves versus the Miami Sharks. I believe that game was 29 to. I've been having issues finding the the Major League Rugby site, it's been very difficult to me because I can't find the previous games, and it's just annoying
When
me.
you see schedule, you have to click results.
You have to click results. It's not a good website. It's bad.
Where is results?
So you go
You got it,
to
Jackson.
you go to the schedule page,
Okay.
and then it will say, so you'll see like
Results.
match player, and then below that you'll see a bunch of things, and then you see schedule and results.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
really.
a bad
You click
website.
results.
Yeah.
It takes time to adjust.
Yeah, it was 29-18. I wasn't able to figure out what the spread on anything was because I didn't live watch the game. So let me just take a quick deep dive. Yeah, I
know
don't.
Seattle was favored.
Yeah, I know Seattle was favored too. I mean, it was a little bit closer than I thought it would be.
Probably,
I thought the Seawolves would have taken a little bit higher, but I mean, it was still a good win.
Miami potentially could have covered.
Yeah, they could have.
I wonder. That feels like they may have, but I don't know.
It's an 11-point spread. I don't think they did, but yeah, it didn't really have too much time to really look over this because I could not figure out this website.
Yeah,
well, now you know
and
for
then
next
you got
time.
hit with the
Yeah, now I know for
geological
next
or
time.
emergency.
Yeah, true.
They found kryptonite in the soil.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it was a fairly balanced game. They both had 2 tries.
Mac Mason scored 17.
Yeah, that's a lot. Both had 1 conversion. Passes were a little bit more towards... Seattle had almost double the possession for passes. Weren't any drop goals, no penalty tries, penalty goal kicks. That seems to be where it really sets it apart.
Look,
With,
Miami's got some poor kicking.
Yeah. That really set it apart because Seattle Seawolves were 5 for 5 as opposed to the Sharks 2 for 4. If the Sharks could have done better, they probably would have. They could have potentially won in that scenario where they got those 2. They could have maybe gotten something towards the end of the game, but it happens. I don't think any of us were expecting Miami to keep it looking this close in the stats, but yeah.
Especially after that game against Chicago. I think
especially.
I think all of us definitely expected a blowout in it.
Yeah.
At least on paper, if you just look at the score, definitely doesn't look like they got
killed.
Their teeth smashed in. So
all the bad teams seem to be trending in the right direction.
Yep.
Love to see it.
Except for Chicago. They lost about as much as they expected. I guess they played close for 60 minutes,
They played relatively okay, in my opinion, against a team
is better than
that's better than them pretty marginally. So
all right, so let's get to the. All right, so Free Jacks are not 1 anymore.
crazy.
Nope.
Absolutely crazy. They don't drop much though.
Yeah, they don't drop much. It was a close loss.
NOLA actually leads in points right now because of the you get extra points for scoring.
Yeah. NOLA played a bad team though. I can't justify jumping them that much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think Seattle we put 1.
Seattle can be bumped up to 1. Got a feeling that's gonna flip right back soon, but
are we?
They're 2-0, so
are we putting Free Jacks just to 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were by far and away the best team last year. They lost that game because of themselves.
Yeah.
I can't justify having a team that had that big of a lead that's this good. They'll be back. I would not.
It was just a bad choke.
Personally,
I think San Diego falls.
I think Houston jumps San Diego. Yeah. I think Houston moves.
It's hard to judge. I guess they played LA, which is the real team that moved as opposed to being an expansion team.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I would go I'd go NOLA.
Yeah, Nola won, so I'd give him credit.
I think Old the Glories win. I might move them ahead of both of them.
Yeah, to be fair, Old Glory's win is a good win. But yeah, I'm trying. This is the weird part.
Cause NOLA, they beat Anthem, and then they beat.
It is far more impressive win than any other team had this week,
Yeah.
so I can
True.
justify moving them
Yeah, I
up
could
that
justify
much.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a little worried that again it was just a fluke. I still think so,
Well,
because the
we'll
Free
have,
Jacks were good,
we'll
but
know
we'll
better
give them credit
in the future.
in week 3.
You know.
Yeah.
So do we do? Where are we slotting San Diego in? Are we putting it behind NOLA and Utah?
How bad did San Diego lose again?
7. Oh no, they won. They beat Dallas.
They beat Dallas.
Oh, for some reason I thought they lost. Yeah, I would put them next.
Yeah.
So we're dropping NOLA, even though, but I guess NOLA beat nobody.
Yeah.
NOLA beat a bad team. Yeah.
I guess they beat Old Glory week 1, didn't they? It's just Old Glory won.
NOLA did, yeah.
Yeah, but Old Glory came back and beat it. What we
Yeah.
thought was the best team in the league, so.
Yeah.
Still most
you have to
likely
give them
is,
some
yeah.
credit.
So we'll do NOLA Utah.
Sorry, NOLA.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think for the most part, the rest of those stay the same.
Yeah, I think the dumpster stays the same after that.
Dallas is
Yeah.
definitely the best of the rest.
Yeah.
Hey, so it didn't. We got our bottom 5 on lock right now.
Yeah, it's almost like the
Yep.
2 expansion teams, and then the two
But
the
the
two worst
other
teams.
3,
No, the
the
2
other
worst teams
three-
from last
Hey.
year.
The Sharks are trending upwards. That's all that matters. Not in the power rankings, but
In our
in
hearts.
spirit.
maybe they can get a win next week.
Hey, who are they playing next week?
I don't
Alright,
remember.
Look at that
Well, I'm
schedule.
gonna bring over the schedule. Let me bring in the schedule.
Oh,
over.
there's no shot. I'm gonna laugh if it's like Miami, New England, or something.
All right, so we got New England versus NOLA. That should be a good game. We
That's
can
gonna be a
really
good game.
see where NOLA actually is.
All right. Yeah.
And then Old Glory's
blowout.
Old Glory's gonna win. Houston's gonna win.
Man,
Utah.
No.
Good game. Good game.
Utah Seattle
Uh,
could be a good game.
that should be a good game.
Seattle.
Oh,
Are
and
they-
to Dallas. Are we? Hang on.
blowout.
Alright.
Hang
Tankle.
on. Are we thinking?
Cue it.
Well, I'm trying to find it. Oh my gosh.
I don't think it's going to be quite a tankful, because they're all tanking at this point. But it definitely is a nice
Dallas.
baseline.
Dallas literally played an expansion team week 1. It definitely can be considered a thankful.
Yeah.
They were 2-14 last year.
Okay, yeah, true.
They do
Yeah.
look better, to their credit, but they're
Yeah.
still considered one of the worst teams.
Yep. Fair.
At least in
fair.
our eyes.
Yeah,
That
that
being said-
looks like 2 interesting games this upcoming
2
week.
really good games. Anthem, Dallas could be fun. There's a couple games that have teams on the same talent level playing each other. Or close to it.
Yeah. They're good games this week. Alright.
Certainly a lot better than last week. Those last week's matchups were...
All right, you ready to move on to the opening round of the Australian Football League?
Yes. I'm ready.
All right, and we don't
I'm
need that
excited.
stuff. 'Cause-
All right,
Stuff
do I
it down.
have to cover the game, or did someone have the team? I don't remember who has what teams because there's like a million teams.
there are a lot of teams that nobody has.
Yeah.
Let me
A
pull up
lot.
the schedule because there are so many teams in this league. Okay, opening round. The first game was mine, Sydney versus Melbourne.
Oh, nice.
Let me pull up what I had. So
Yeah, because I thought I had the demons, so
yeah, so
makes it easier on
another loss for you, Kyle. You really suck. Your team
me.
suck. So it was
Kyle's they're picking better.
Nope.
So it was a close game. In the third quarter of this game, though, I saw maybe the saddest kick of my entire life I've ever seen. So a guy caught the ball like within 10 yards of the goal, like right in front of him, and he shanked it for a behind. It was even the announcer was just like,
Is that worse than the women's punter kick that we saw on YouTube Live? That was
yeah, but
that was
that I
pretty
expected that from them. This is a
and
professional,
This is a professional. It's a professional. Yeah, that's fair.
a professional kicking guy.
That's
When
fair.
when you ask this guy his occupation, he says football player. When you ask that lady what her occupation is, she's probably
A
like,
diner. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, I'm a nurse, or I'm, an accountant, or a secretary. It's not, I'm a football player.
Fair
So
enough,
yeah,
fair enough.
also there was a really good kick I saw in that game as well. There was a kick at the start of the fourth quarter where the guy kicked the goal from beyond the 50-meter arc. There was like a 53-yard kick right between the goalposts.
Truly a spectacular game. You got one guy that's kicking it super far out, and then the other guy's just right underneath it.
Yeah, and then
Shaking.
they pulled away in the fourth, and the game ended up being 86-64. And then that was my only win of the week. Did anybody have Melbourne or the Blues? Lions or Blues? Did either one of us have those teams?
Yeah, I had the Blues.
You had the Blues. Okay.
That's Falcons gonna Falcon. But I'll cover it now since it's already up, and that's
Yeah, and it's the game of the week.
that's the Falcons gonna Falcon.
Okay. Yep. So go over your game.
So I did not have a slide on this because I had it for Falcons gonna Falcon instead, but I'll share my Falcons gonna Falcon. Here we go. So, in this week's epic battle between the Brisbane Lions and the Carlton Blues, the Brisbane Lions managed to blow a 46-point lead, losing by a final score of 86-85. Some little key facts to the game. The Blues were down as big as 50-12 at one point before scoring 8 unanswered goals in the third to take the lead. This ended a 14-game winning streak for the Lions against the Blues, and before this epic loss, the Lions won 52 of their last 60 games at home. So, weird stat that they had, but yeah, they've dominated at home, except this game. Now, there was a big factor that went into this choke job. That they lost debatably one of their best players, Keaton Coleman. He's a defender. I believe they said hyperextended knee at the time when I looked this up, but I think he's since come out that he's tore his ACL and did some other stuff. He messed up his knee really bad, so and that happened around halftime. So that's when the Blues started scoring. That being said, skill issue, womp womp. The Blues also lost a player, Jake Bowie, and I believe he was out for a good portion of the game as well. So both teams lost a key contributor to their teams in this game. So I will note, to the Lions' credit, unlike the Falcons, the Lions regained the lead late in the fourth, but Carlton came back, scored the game-winning goal with 1:15 left in the game. So that is this week's Falcons gonna Falcon.
Nice.
Also, a mini shout-out to the New England Free Jacks. Jackson already brought it up, but they blew a 29-15 lead at one point, or 14, sorry. I'll stop sharing my screen, stop doing the screen of death, but yeah, that's another mini choke job that we got to witness, and they were the heavily I think that had the highest odds of winning of any team of any game that we were covering this week.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so that's a pretty big choke job on their part, but not as bad as blowing a 46-point lead. My goodness.
Yeah.
So get falconed, Lions.
All right. The next game was nobody's game, but me and Nate actually watched a little bit of this game at the middle of the night with the Gold Coast Suns versus the Richmond Tigers. And we only turned on this game because the Tigers literally had, like, no points. There was, like, a 67-point lead at one point in this game.
It was so bad.
But in the second half, the Tigers made it a little bit more reasonable. I mean, it's still a bad loss. They lost 99-60, but that's a lot better than whatever it was, 74 to like 13 or whatever.
It was 13, yeah.
So the Suns just kind of turned it off in the second half and just kind of cruised.
Yep.
Almost falconed. They could have been on here, but
then,
yeah, I mean, it's hard to blow a 67.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Oh, man. You're not wrong.
Yep.
You almost have to try.
Yeah, what I did learn from watching the game is that you can pile on points real quick if you get hot. It's like basketball.
Yeah.
If somebody gets hot, you can just let them go up and get a specky and
could sort of be like a game of runs, depending on how the game goes.
Well, the scores end up like basketball. They can end up like basketball.
Yeah. For sure.
And that leads the last game of the opening round for you, Nate, where you beat me.
Yes, sir. So I'll cover that, and then I had a preseason drama to cover with my last team. So, but I'll get to that in a minute. So going back to my PowerPoint here. So, the Western Sydney Giants take down the Magpies.
You do realize when you're
114.
streaming your PowerPoint, we only see the Alex Jones GIF, right?
Oh, does it really do that? Wait, hang on. Oh, that's awkward. That's a bummer. That's so stupid. Does that do anything?
Yeah, we can see the whole thing now.
Okay, so I just have to go in presentation mode. Okay. Well, that makes for a good bit anyway. So.
I thought you were doing it on purpose, to be honest.
No. You should know me by now. Okay. I'm really bad at streaming things.
Technology and Nate.
Yeah.
Not good.
I'm not bad at technology. I'm just bad at streaming on Discord. I'm an idiot, to be fair. But yeah, like I said, the Giants took down the Magpies in what would be considered probably an upset. 114-82 is the final. Callum Brown scored 3 goals in the first term and ended up finishing with 5 goals overall. So he had a really good first quarter, is what we'd say, but I think they called it term. So,
no, their YouTube video said quarters.
Did it say quarters? The article said that I read it and said terms. So okay.
Well, their highlight videos have quarters.
Yeah. Okay. So first in the first quarter. So I don't know why they're calling it terms then. So this is a big win for the Giants. Got revenge for the semifinal loss for a spot in the championship game against the Magpies, where they lost by 1 point. So they got a sweet revenge there on their home field. But the bad news for them is that their former skipper, Callan Ward, was hurt with a shoulder injury. So he left the game.
I have to imagine injuries are quite prevalent in this league.
Yes, they're going to happen a lot.
This is a violent sport.
It's a very, very violent sport, and with no padding, so it'll probably happen a lot. But yeah, the Giants pretty much was sort of close to the beginning, and the Giants just kind of pulled away in the end. So they were able to start off the year 1-0. So yeah.
All right.
Good for
and
the Giants,
your news bit is from the Aussie League. You can cover it now.
Yep. So got some drama, and this is where the Alex Jones GIF is coming in to place. So the Kangaroos face St. Kilda in a preseason game, and the head coach of the Roos, Alistair Clarkson. This is kind of confusing, so bear with me. But he receives a 2-match ban until the end of the 2025 season. So what that asterisk basically saying, he's not suspended right now. But if he has a similar incident that I get into in a minute, if he has another outburst, he will be before the end of the 2025 season. He will be suspended for 2 games. So that's what they're meaning by that. It took me a minute to understand.
He's on probation right now.
Pretty much.
Double secret probation.
So pretty much that's what's going on. He was also fined $20,000 and has to attend, unfortunately, Pride in Sport training because of misconduct. And basically what happened was...
Did he call somebody a slur?
You'll see. He got mad because St. Kilda's player, Jimmy Webster, had concussed one of their guys, or one of their co-captains, Jai Simpkin, and the coach... I'm just quoting him here. So, Mom, if you ever watch these, I'm just quoting what he's saying. He referred to Jimmy as a cocksucker.
Okay.
So,
that's pretty tame.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty tame, too.
That's not even
one of the articles.
I'm going to make Jackson's job harder. He could have called him a faggot.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. That's why I censored myself earlier.
Cross. Well, and that's why I thought it was going to be way worse than it was, because one of the articles said it was a homophobic slur. So I was just like, well, if it was that, they're probably progressive enough that he would have been fired. And so seeing this, I was just like, that's relatively tame. That's not a homophobic slur. Cry about it. Like, get over yourself. That being said...
Dude wouldn't last 2 minutes in a Call of Duty lobby.
Yeah, 2 minutes? Try 2 seconds. Try joining in the lobby, and he's already done for it. But, yeah, pretty hefty fine, though. The training being the worst of them all, obviously. So, but that's why I brought in Alex Jones. He doesn't like putting chemicals in the water that turn the frickin' frogs gay. So, so that is the news on that. So, yeah. I wanted to mention really quick, St. Kilda, your poverty, 150 years and you have 1 ring. 150 years and you have 1 ring. Absolutely pathetic. Aren't they the ones with the slogan, too, about them winning championships? Or is that the other team that we found?
It can't be them. It can't.
I can't hear Jackson right now.
Sorry.
You're good.
Okay. There are 2 teams that both have only 1 championship and 1 AFL championship. They have their other smaller
championships, but they're Mickey Mouse. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like the Lions championships in the 50s.
Yeah, but one team that only has 1 AFL championship is slogan is like, we win premierships. And
I thought that was St. Kilda. Because that's why I remember St. Kilda in part, but maybe it's not. Maybe it could have been the Port.
No, there is strength through loyalty.
Oh, strength through loyalty. Cringe.
Yeah. Port Adelaide is the
stuck up for their guys when they were called a cocksucker. So
yeah. Port Adelaide's slogan is, "We exist to win premierships." And they have 1.
Adelaide
they should take out the S.
Port Adelaide.
Okay, just making sure.
Take out the S, and then it's accurate.
Yeah.
Win championship.
Yeah, they have 1 AFL championship.
All right.
So now we can head on to the team previews. So for the IFL, who wants to go first on IFL?
I can go.
Oh, I can go first.
All right, fair enough. You got it, Kyle.
All right. So, my first IFL team, I didn't make a PowerPoint.
Blacker.
So my first, yep. My first IFL team, we got the Vegas Nighthawks, owned by Bill Foley, who is also the owner of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
We already know what Colin's going to say
Because you're a
next.
long struggling Vegas Golden Knights fan.
Yeah, I do love this because I am a long struggling Vegas Knights fan.
Golden Knights, get it right.
You expect Kyle to actually watch hockey?
Yes.
I'm a Vegas Knights fan. I don't watch it.
If you're going to do the bit, at least have the right name.
No, I'm a Vegas Knights fan. I'm a fan of the Nighthawks and the Golden Knights.
Yeah. Yeah. They're together.
Yeah, they're together. They're a package deal now.
Together one.
Yeah, together one ring. Yep.
Sounds like a bunch of fascists.
So last year they finished in the last in the Western Conference with a record of 5-10 and 12th overall. So not dead last, but getting there.
Tulsa was last.
Their first season was in
Iowa sucked too last year.
Yeah. Their first season was in 2022, and this will be their third season. Their GM and coach is Mike Davis. He spent 5 years in the Arena Football League as an assistant general manager to the Omaha Beef. Then went on, then for 6 years, he was the head coach of the IFL's Nebraska Danger, 3 of which were championships. Yeah. 3 of his 6 years were championships.
How they full then? Dang.
Because
mismanagement.
Indoor football is a margin.
I know. But...
Yeah. Then he went to be the defensive line coach at the CFL's Toronto Argonauts in 2020. Yeah, and then he is the first and only GM in the program history. So he's been going strong since 2022. This will be his 3rd season there. So he has a good resume.
Nate abandoned us.
Yep. Next, we have the Massachusetts Pirates.
The people that gave Trayvon Boykin a contract.
No. I was going to say there's no relevant alumni that I could find for this organization.
Or Cardale Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
How about doing
like I said, relevant
Dave jokes a day early? God, I hate the Pirates.
I hate that team so much to this day.
2023, so last season they finished 9-7 and were 3rd in the Eastern Conference. Their first season was back in 2018 in the National Arena League, and they joined the IFL back in 2021. So
because they got kicked out of the NAL.
Yeah. Did they have a stoppage in 2020? I can't remember, or is it one of the other leagues that had the stoppage in 2020?
This league. They played like 2 games in the league. In the season
okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say most leagues.
Yeah.
This was the only indoor league that played a little bit. All the other ones were canceled before the season started.
Yeah.
So then their head coach is Rod Miller, and he is also the defensive coordinator and defensive backs coach.
Shout out to the fact their head coach last year, Patrick Pass, got suspended because he jumped in the audience and started fighting a crowd member.
I did not see that anywhere.
I remember that.
That is incredible.
Thanks.
He is the 6th coach in this franchise's history, which is quite impressive. That they've had 6 in 7 seasons. Well, 6.5, 7 seasons.
Than you think.
He's joining the Pirates after serving as the defensive coordinators for the Vegas Nighthawks last season.
Keeping your fandoms together.
Yeah, bringing my fandoms together.
By pure happenstance.
Had it rough as a Nighthawks fan, man.
Yeah, I do. I have it really rough as a Vegas Knight fan. Just so hard, suffering from success.
I get it, man. My Cardillos, it's been rough. Since I've known their existence, they haven't lost a single game. It's so hard.
Just wait until they play the Gallos Negros this year.
No, I think they're going to lose to the Mexicos week 4. I actually think it might happen. So.
And then my last.
When do you play the Fundies?
Northern. Oh.
I don't know. I just happen to know our next games is the Mexicos.
Then for my 3rd team, I have the Northern Arizona Wranglers. They joined the IFL in 2020, and they finished last season in 4th in the West at a record of 8-9. Their head coach is Les Moss. It's their 3rd year as the head coach, and they have made it to the last 2 conference championship games under him, which is quite impressive.
They beat Quad Cities in the championship game.
Imagine going under
Yeah.
500 and not winning a ring. I wouldn't know what that's like, man.
Yeah, true. You know, fight me. How about that? All right.
Cry harder.
Yeah, cry harder, sure. All right, who else is up?
I could go.
Okay. Either or,
Okay.
really.
Let me make sure, because I did do IFL first, right?
I can go if you need to reorganize.
I went in the order
yourself.
we picked them
No,
last year.
I'm good.
Or last week, fuck.
Gosh, share my screen here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So we're starting off with the Sioux Falls Storm. Been around for a while for an indoor team, one of the oldest out
Active
there to
ones,
date. Founded in 1999, used to be known as the Sioux Falls Cobras. They have 11 championships, so they absolutely dominated in the 2010s. But ever since COVID happened, they've been poverty Mickey Mouse. So do those rings really count? I don't know. But 20 playoff appearances. So they've historically have been a very, very, very dominant team. Last year they went 9-6, so reverse nice. Had 708 points for, 660 points against, for a final plus minus of plus 48. Their best win last year was against the Barnstormers. They won 77-26. And in my opinion, their worst loss was to my Frisco Fighters, 15-56. Made the playoffs, but ended up losing in the championship game to the Bay Area Panthers, 41-51. They did end up beating my Frisco Fighters in the playoffs, unfortunately.
Choke
I
artist.
also even did NFL. Yep, exactly. And you'll see in a minute what my Frisco Fighters NFL equivalent is. But the Sioux Falls Storm equivalent is the Patriots. A lot of rings, but a lot of cheating, allegedly. So they had to forfeit 5 games due to insurance violations, end quote. I think it's scapegoating for sure. Totally not legit. I think it's fake news. So, but yeah, so their equivalent is because they won a lot, but have a scandal or two. Their head coach is Andre Fields. And the random fact of the team is they allowed 47 points in a game 5 times last year. I just thought that was really random to allow that particular number that many times. So I thought that was funny. So, and so here are some of their all pros and retired numbers. No, they weren't the one with Fred. No, they weren't. No key players here for the most part that are worthy of being noted, but they did retire their kickers jersey. I thought that was pretty funny. Retired Adam Hicks number. So shout out to him. I think that was hilarious. And they did have a key signing. They signed an all IFL wide receiver last year, Kentrez Bell. So they picked him up. That's a good move for them. I think that'll help out their offense big time in the long run. And I don't know if they had any major departures, but I'm sure they did. But I think that'll help them out. And I imagine they're going to improve a little bit next year, have a better record, or at least close to what they had last year. So the next team are the San Antonio Gunslingers. They were founded in 2020. 0 championships, so pretty poverty, and only 1 playoff appearance. They did go 8-4 with 569 points scored and allowed 606, which is pretty impressive to do when you win 4 more games than you lose and still have a plus minus of minus 37, which, as I note here, they won pretty much half their games by less than 3 points. I think they started off winning their first 3 games of the year by a combined total of 3 points, 3 to 5, somewhere in that range. It was something ridiculous. And so, case in point, their best win was by 1 point. But they beat the Jacksonville Sharks, who were really, really good last year. And it was on the road. But their worst loss, also to the Jacksonville Sharks, got throttled. So that those kind of highlight what their year was like last year. Won quite a few games, but they were close. But when they lost, it wasn't pretty. So the playoff result, they ended up losing to the Carolina Cobras, 36-52. And I had their NFL equivalent team as the Steelers without the rings because they started off undefeated and then faced good teams and then made the playoffs and got thrashed. So, but they were, kind of giving off vibes that they were bragging about how good they are, even though they had a Mickey Mouse schedule. So that's how I came to that conclusion, and hence the Antonio Brown meme. On top of the fact that they signed quite a few players from Antonio Brown's former team, the Albany Empire,
so
who no
coach.
longer exist, and their coach too. So still a lot of guys from Albany Empire. So their head coach, like we mentioned, it was from Albany, Tom Menace. I'll say Menace, sounds cooler. And random fact is they were a USFL team in the 1980s.
I feel like they could have been a good comparison to the Vikings.
Probably, yeah. I just thought the other one was funnier because of the AB connection.
Yeah, true.
And on top of the fact that they played like this modern Steelers.
Yeah, they're going undefeated and then falling apart.
So going undefeated and getting absolutely smacked the second they played somebody good. So here are some of their key players and signings. So they signed the Sharks quarterback from.
So
go ahead.
So with Sam Castellanova, he actually started in Albany, and he's one of the people that Antonio Brown. I think he's one of the people that got locked out of the out of the hotel rooms. He was one of the people.
That's hilarious.
So.
That's actually crazy.
And he signed with Jacksonville because Jacksonville's starter got hurt.
Yeah, and he that ended up going pretty well for him because he won MVP.
Yeah. But I should note that the quarterback that he replaced was leading the league in passing when he got hurt. And re-signed with Jacksonville.
Yes, Jacksonville had a very good offense last year, so pretty much they were pretty much guaranteed to win it. But nevertheless, they did sign an MVP, so that'll help them help out an offense that seemingly, I guess, didn't necessarily struggle. They just couldn't really put games in a comfortable position.
Yeah, but I think new coach, new roster, new league.
I think he'll help separate that out a little bit in that regard, maybe. But and then they just signed a running back, a receiver, and a couple linebackers.
Guerrera is from Albany too.
Which one?
Guerrera.
Yeah,
Fabian. He was one of the people that Antonio Brown was excited for in the chat of the YouTube live chat.
Dude, you're right.
He got a touchdown.
You're right. That makes sense considering he's a receiver too, and the name just gives off AB friend vibes. I don't know. But speaking of Friends, they signed a guy from Friends University, and so hence the GIF here. And then just signed a couple other guys. So that's that. And last but not least are the Frisco Fighters, founded in 2020. And they haven't won a championship, and got this classic GIF over here. I think it sums up their team pretty well. They made the playoffs all 3 years in their existence. In pretty convincing fashion too. Last year they went 14-3, scoring 912 points and only allowing 663, the respectable 249 plus minus. Their best win was against the Storm, 56-15 at home. whereas the worst loss was against the Pirates, sadly, 58-72. That game still makes me angry to this day because of what the March 31st incident. And then the playoff results obviously fixed, rigged for the Storm. Obviously the Patriots cheating again, getting the cheating refs.
Beating the Chargers.
Yep. So, and beating the Chargers equivalent, no less.
Yeah.
So it all makes sense. So, but yeah, they're the Chargers equivalent. Always having an insane offense. At least more of the 2000s Chargers, not the last couple of years, but then end up choking against a team like the Patriots or somebody else has an even more insane offense. So, head coach is Andre Coles. And I couldn't really find a random fact.
Okay, I got a couple for Frisco. So
okay, well, shoot away.
Their original head coach was Clinton Dolzell, who was a longtime Arena Football League coach. He was the coach of the Philadelphia Soul for a long time, and I think he left Frisco to go coach his alma mater, which I believe is Texas A&M Commerce in D2.
Hey, shout
out. And then I believe that their radio color guy is Dan Rodabon, who was like an Arena Football League Hall of Fame quarterback.
Good. So. Nice. W.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So those are better facts than what I had. So, yeah. And then they have their All-Pro signing/awards. So first team All-Pro is T.J. Edwards, also won MVP. Sadly, no longer.
I thought he resigned.
I think he got drafted though.
He got cut by San Antonio though.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure he resigned like a week ago.
Okay, well, at the time I was doing this, I didn't see anything like that come up, so I don't know if the same thing happened to Cordell Jackson or not. So good to know. So we'll cover that first. I had initially said T.J. Edwards was drafted by the Brahmas, but considering he was cut, it sounds like he came back. And then Cordell Jackson, the rookie corner from last year, was drafted by the Orlando Guardians. And I suspect he may have actually stayed because Orlando needs all the help they can get. But Cordell Jackson was the defensive rookie of the year. And then they had quite a few first-team All-Pros up here. So even including Cordell Jackson. So he had a phenomenal year for a rookie. And they also won kick return / special teams player of the year. And then was there any really weird awards that they won? No, I don't think so. But yeah, and then they won a couple of second team All-Pros as well. And then signed a couple of guys to the last name Dixon and Trip Harrington signed him. I don't know if he's still there, but that's a local legend. So, and that's pretty much what I got for my IFL squad. So, yeah.
Pull up All right. All right, I've got my season previews. So my first team of the Indoor Football League was the Quad City Steamwheelers. They were founded in 2018, though their name comes a bit from an old Arena Football 2 team. Were the Quad City Steamwheelers, so they get their name from that. They joined the IFL in 2019. In their former league, they were in the CIF in 2018. They have 0 championships, but they had 1 championship game appearance. Their current head coach is Corey Ross, who has been in with the team since its existence. In 2018, he had a career record of 35-28. Here is their season from last year. They had an interesting season. They started off fairly hot, and then they cooled off, and then ended up carrying over into the postseason. So they have some good wins, but then they also have like this bad win against Tulsa. They have a bad loss against Tulsa. They have a bad loss against Iowa, a really bad loss against Iowa. And they ended up losing to Frisco in the first round, which was a revenge game for Frisco because they upset Frisco the previous year. So some key signings they've had. They got Jed Erickson, who has some experience in the ELF, and he was on preseason roster for a CFL team. Same thing with Karan Ashley. And then they have some former IFL, all IFL players in Gerard Harrington and Kayvon Rudd. And then they had a second team from last year in Jalen Swan and an all-rookie player in Malik Owens on the defensive line. My second team is the rival of the Quad City, so I'm combining rivalry to cheer for both teams. The Iowa Barnstormers. This is the second iteration of the Iowa Barnstormers. The original Iowa Barnstormers, of course, are the one that Kurt Warner played for, but this iteration came around in 2008. They joined the IFL in 2015. They started off in Arena Football 2 from 08 to 09, and then to the regular, the big leagues in the Arena Football League when it came back after bankruptcy from 2010 to 2014. They have one championship, which they won in 2018 in the IFL. Their current head coach is Dave Morganson, who's been the coach since 2022, and he has a career record of 12-20 with the team. As you can see, their season last year was not good at all. But somehow they had an 80-41 win and a 73-43 win.
Suck it, Mass.
So
that's what those idiots get.
Yeah, it was a weird season. And then some key players they have are Eric Thomas, who was all IFL second team in 2018. They have a defensive back who was all second team SEC back in 2013. A guy who was all IFL in 2019, and then their kicker was all IFL second team last year. And then my final team is the Jacksonville Sharks, who are founded in 2010. They are they joined the IFL just this year. Their former leagues were in the Arena Football League from 2010 to 2016, before being a founding member of the NAL, which they just left this last season. They have 4 championships. They won the Arena Bowl in 2011, and then they have 2017, 2019, and 2023 in the NAL. Their head coach is Jason Gibson, who's been their head coach since 2023, just last year, and they are 12-2. And he actually is the former coach of the Columbus Lions, which is a team that we'll get to in a little bit later on. Here's their season from last year. As you can see, it was pretty good. Losses against San Antonio and a 1-point loss to Orlando early in the year. And then they had a loss to Carolina at the end of the year, when I'm pretty sure they were sitting everybody to get ready for the postseason, where they murdered Orlando in the semis and then got the win over Carolina in the championship. And key players is that they have Connor Blount, their quarterback, who was the starter to start the season at 2023 before he got hurt. They have Cameron Solomon, who was the offensive player of the year in the NAL. They have Tamarian Terry, who was all ACC back at the second team in 2019. They have Jeremiah Price, who was all NAL in 2017, and Jabari Gorman, who was the 2023 NAL Defensive Player of the Year. So let's close out of that. And there are a lot of teams in this league, so we actually aren't. We all don't have one. So let me pull over the team list so we can at least briefly go over the other teams in the league. So let's bring up the standings from last year, because I don't believe there are any teams that were new that we didn't pick. So Green Bay Blizzard, we should give a shout out to them. They were an Arena Football 2 team as well. They've been around for a good long time. They were in the 2000s. They came around. They also have a really good fan base. They sell out. They fill up their stadium pretty good for a team that hasn't had a winning season.
More iconic than Lambeau.
Okay. And then the Tulsa Oilers, who were a new team, I think last year or maybe the year before, they are a pretty good model of what this league is trying to do for ownership-wise, because I believe they are owned by the minor league hockey team that is in that area, and I think that team is also called the Tulsa Oilers. So I think they're the Bay Area Panthers, which I believe at least originally had ownership stake by Marshawn Lynch. I don't know if he's still involved with them, but they ended up winning the championship last year. And then we have the Arizona Rattlers, who are a long-time indoor team. I believe they were founded in 1992. They played in the Arena Football League for a good long while, and they followed Iowa to the IFL when the Arena Football League was falling apart. Tucson is kind of an interesting thing because they're actually owned by the wife of the head coach of the Rattlers. So,
and they'll still last longer than the Arizona Coyotes.
yeah, so it's just kind of a funny thing there. So every time those two teams play each other, it's just the Kevin Guy game. Northern, that's you, Kyle. San Diego, they're I believe they came around in 2019.
Nice record.
They have a nice record, yeah. I believe their coach, their quarterback
Indeed,
is their quarterback is Nate Davis, who is
right, man.
Who is a guy who's been playing indoor football for a long time, and I believe he was a third round NFL draft pick, but never. I don't think he played in the NFL ever. But the interesting thing is that I believe he's in the same quarterback draft class as Matthew Stafford, so that gives you an indication of how long he's been playing indoor football. And then we have Duke City, which is in Albuquerque, if you're not familiar with the team of local dialect names. They came from the CIF a couple years ago, and that's the last team that we don't have cover. So, on to the next league, which is the National Arena League. So, who wants to lead off on that?
I can get started.
All right.
All right. So my team is the Carolina Cobras. They were founded in 2018. Their head coach and GM is Brandon Negron, and he just took over this year. They have made the playoffs every year and never missed. So from 2018 until the present, so 2018, 2019, 2020 skipped, and then 2021, 2022, 2023. They are 5-4 all-time in the playoffs, and they are 1-3 in the championship game. So they make it a lot. Yeah, but, you know, they won it all their first year, and so they've choked it 3 times.
No, almost the Bills.
Yeah, almost. They almost are the Bills.
Actually, no, I should say almost the Vikings.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because it wasn't
not
4 years in a row. Yeah. Could have been the Vikings.
What's his coach name again?
Brandon Negron.
Nice.
Yeah, good name. Then my other team is the Oklahoma Flying Aces. They were founded in 2019, and they went 2-10 that season. Or was it 2-10 last season? I don't know why I wrote that right there. I think it was 2-10 last season.
Yeah, I think they started in a weird...
Oh, no. Sorry. Now I understand why I said that. So they were founded in 2019, where they went 2-10, and then they've been dormant ever since until this season. And their head coach, GM, and president is Richard Davis. And that is about everything I could find.
On brand.
All right, so are they even really the same team that existed in 2019, or they're just somebody who co-opted the name?
It said they were dormant, so on Wikipedia, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yesn't.
Yeah, I think it was the same ownership, is what my guess is, and they just because I didn't see anything about them selling the team unless I just straight up overlooked it.
Okay.
Because I have one coming up that they sold the team, but
I have one where the team got sold too.
Well, I will go ahead and so I got the first team in the NAL, the Sioux City Bandits. Another team that's been around for a while, 1999. Got 3 championships in 16 playoff appearances. Last year they went 5-6, 5-5 in the regular season, and 0-1 in the playoffs. So hence the dives from mid name. They're outlandishly mid. So scored 448 points last year, allowing 414 at a plus minus 34. So I guess for a mid team, it's a pretty good plus minus. So best 2023 win, they won 49-45. I had that flipped. But they won an overtime win against the Salima Liberty, who I believe, I don't know if they won the championship or were in the championship in the last year, but regardless, they played a really good team to beat them.
These teams were all in the SIF last year.
Or sorry, SIF, yeah.
So Salina lost to Omaha.
Yeah, duh. So yeah, they lost that, but still a pretty.
We should note that the NAL is basically a whole new league than it was last year, except for Carolina. Everybody else is new. Everybody came from the SIF or the AWFC.
So yeah,
are new.
Dumb moment on my part there, but their worst loss were to the eventual champions of the SIF, the Omaha Beef, 44-15. Which, to their credit, even though I call them mid, all their losses were to teams above 500, and they beat all the teams under 500. So, so I guess if anything, that redefines them being mid. So their NFL equivalent are the Broncos. Won a couple rings, but haven't done anything since we've been in high school. So watched since 2015.
Okay.
Their head coach is Irv Strobing, and their random fact is they won a game 112-0 in 2011 versus the Kansas City Matadors, and that 112 is still the franchise record to this day. So that's a pretty rough shutout for Kansas City. So
that's impressive. You have to try to score 0 points in.
Honestly, yeah. And yes, in indoor football, yes, that is actually really hard to do. So key award winners and players and signings. So they won Franchise of the Year last year and had Fan Base of the Year. So those go hand in hand. Basically, if you win Franchise of the Year, it's because you had the best ticket sales, best attendance, stuff like that. Their Executive of the Year, so Don Belson, I believe, is their president, and all that for jazz. So Game Day Operations of the Year and Co-Community Relations of the Year. Whatever that means. But a couple of their Ring of Honors / Hall of Famers. Fred Jackson, former NFL running back, played for Sioux City. And then just had a couple quarterbacks, a receiver, a lineman, and then guys they've drafted or key signings. That's not a typo. Justin Gilbert, former corner, drafted in the first round in 2014. Signed with them, I believe, last year or 2 years ago, and had re-signed this offseason. So pretty wild pickup. Even though he was a bum in the NFL, he's still ought to be pretty good for this level of play. So
I think Matt Elam plays in the IFL.
Yeah. So that's
former flame-out first-round draft picks playing indoor football.
Literally, it's crazy. It's crazy out here.
I guess they made enough money that they can just.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe they're just bored.
Yeah.
It seems like a Justin moment. And then I guess.
Shouldn't be smoking the dope, so might as well play the football.
Exactly. Only other major key signing was Ethan Middlestad Snorton. Pretty sick name. I'm shouting him out because he was a tryout. I guess then Keith Lewis was on the Bucks and played for the Jets and I think the Saints.
They have two former
For-
cornerbacks or two former defensive backs
in
who
the
played
NFL, yes.
That'll be interesting
Yes.
to see.
So their secondary could be pretty nasty, actually. So the second team, the Omaha Beef. I picked a lot of really historic indoor teams. Founded in 1999, only 2 championships. They have 18 playoff appearances.
Still
Last
more than
year,
St. Kilda.
Yeah, true. More than St. Kilda. Oh, gosh. And far less years, no less.
Yeah.
Doubling them in rings in about 90 years less. So probably more than that. 120. Last year, unfortunately, went undefeated. So yeah, like I say, Kyle thinks he has it bad. I had 2 teams that went undefeated last year. It was a rough time. tough draw. In 2023, they scored 620 points, and the crazy stat is they only allowed 249 in the SIF. That's really, really good to allow less than 300. So the plus minus 371 is crazy. So the best win was a 50-30 win over the Liberty to win the championship. And worst loss, obviously, is the N/A. The rest of that former league, everyone should just get better. So skill issue. And then playoffs result, like I said, it just best was the championship. So NFL equivalent are the Ravens, couple rings, new team. Choke of the playoffs a lot, but they have won a couple times. So Mike Tatum's their head coach. And the reason I became an Omaha Beef fan, they reached out to Tim Tebow in 2013 to have him play quarterback for them. So ever since I found out about them,
$75 a game.
Yes, so I've been a big fan of the Beef since. So W shout out. And then some of the key award winners in players and signings. League MVP was Tommy Armstrong, their quarterback. Co-offensive player of the year. Yes, they had a tie there.
Former Nebraska player.
A former Nebraska player, Tommy Armstrong. And then there's the other team that was the co-community relations of the year. And then a couple Hall of Famers there. They have a rump roaster. I don't know what that is. From my understanding, he was just a fan that showed up a lot and died like a super fan. So basically like that Chiefs furry person, only not a furry. He was just, a big fan of beef in more ways than one. And then they had a dancer that made the Hall of Fame too. So, but the biggest shout out here is a former player is Matt LaFleur. He played quarterback for them for a little bit, threw 9 touchdown passes, 0 picks. So when he was in, he balled out. So beyond that, no, they did not sign Zion Williamson. They signed the unobese version of that, Zion Williams. So he could actually run and maintain a healthy diet. So, and then signing attempt is Tim Tebow. And then they're their key players. I think that's all I had. So, yep.
Yeah, that's the other league. All right.
That is the
on to my ones. So, from current slide. Alrighty. Laser pointer. My team are the Idaho Horsemen. Team info, they were founded in 2019. But they just joined the NAL this year. They came from the American West Football Conference, which was a league that they founded. So it was basically their league that they just invited other teams to play with them because they couldn't get into the CIF or the IFL. They have 2 championships. They won in 2019 and 2023. Their head coach is also their GM, their president, and their owner, Chris Reynolds. He's been their head coach since 2019. He has a career record of 31-10. Here is their season from last year. As you can see, they went undefeated, and that is not a typo. They did win a game 101-6, but it was a non-league game against a semi-pro team, so not super unexpected. Those games are always very lopsided, as you can see by their other non-league games.
1-6. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Wasn't a shutout.
It was not a
to the
shutout.
Cali Bowl.
Yeah. And they've had one preseason. They had a preseason game this last week, and they won it 57-14.
Ooh, they on the downfall? They only scored 57 that time.
Yeah, and it was against the team they beat last year, 80-30. So
Yeah.
that defense picked up though.
It did.
Now their team, I will say that all pros, note that this league only had 3 actual league members, so that's why there's so many. And I wouldn't say that this level of this is nearly as competent of a league as, say, the NAL last year or the indoor football league. This is definitely a step below that. This is probably a step below the CIF even from last year. But they had the MVP. I'd also like to note that this defensive lineman was actually all-pro at both defensive line and kicker. So we got a big one out here kicking.
That's pretty. That's quite the combination.
Yeah. And then my other team is the Colorado Spartans. They are a brand new team, so they have no formal league. They have no championships. Their head coach is Fred Shaw, who obviously just signed, but he is actually the guy who was the San Antonio Gunslingers coach last year, and I believe the year before that as well. They didn't have a season last year, but they had a preseason game this year, and they won it 70-12. And they do not list the roster, so I don't know who key players are or anything, because when I was trying to watch that preseason game, they talked over the player introductions. But they seem competent enough that they can win their preseason game by about the level that you expect a indoor team to beat a semi-pro team. So, and those are all the NAL teams. So now we can head on to the final, the brand new American indoor football. It's a relaunch of an old league. And does anybody specifically want to go first?
Yeah,
I
have I did some lists of the leagues my teams have been in, and it's a yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So first up, I got the Amarillo Venom.
Amarillo.
Amarillo. Amarillo Venom. They were founded in 2004, and they were in the Intense Football League, and they won the championship that year.
That became the IFL.
Yep. So the next year, they joined the AF2, otherwise known as the Arena Football Development League, and they stayed from 2005 to 2009. At which point they joined the IFL and stayed there for 2 years, 2010 and 2011. They then decided to go break off and join the Lone Star Football League from 2012 to 2014, winning the championship in that league in 2013 and 2014. Then they went to the Champions Indoor Football League from 2015 to 2020, to the Lone Star Series in 2021, and then they took a break due to the sale of the organization and joined the American Indoor Football League this season with everyone else. They also have a new head coach this year. Their name is Rick Kranz, but I could not find anything on them.
Okay.
On brand. All right. Oh.
Yeah. You got another team.
Yep. Sorry.
And then after that, we have the Harrisburg Stampede. Put this over here so I can see it better. They were established in 2008 in their first, and this is where it's fun, their first season was in 2010 in the American Indoor Football Association. They then joined the Southern Indoor Football League in 2011, and then from 2012 and 2013, they were a part of the American Indoor Football League, so the original version of this. They then left after 2013 and joined the Professional Indoor Football League, and stayed there in only 2014, and then they went dormant for 9 years and are back now this year.
Dang,
So it's
man.
probably a new team. It's just He stole the name.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the fun part. Their head coach is Bernie Nowatarski, and it is their 5th season as head coach.
They brought him back. They called him up. Hey, I know you haven't coached for us in 9 years.
Yeah, exactly my point. So it's their 5th season as the head coach, and they have an 18-21 record.
Bro, riding off food stamps out here or something? Like, what
You
was
gotta
he
be
doing?
like a local high school coach too, or something.
Yeah, it has to
Maybe.
be. I just thought that was really
During the
funny.
off season.
Bro was real excited to work again.
This is like what? Because I think when UAB went dormant for the 2 years before they brought back football, I think they brought back the same head coach that was part of the team when they canceled football.
It's a little bit different though, considering they're a lot bigger.
This is not a 9-year gap either.
not a 9-year gap. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, now I'll jump into my stuff and share my screen here. Okay. All right. So my first team, the Corpus Christi Tritons, founded this year. Championships, none. Playoff appearances, none. 2023 record, none. No points scored, no points allowed.
That's good.
No plus minus. No best win, no best loss. No playoff result. No NFL equivalent. Head coach is Bradley Chavez. Random fact is follows in the history of indoor football league indoor football league team Corpus Christi Hammerhead / Fury. So
The NFL equivalent is the 1999 Cleveland Browns.
I was thinking about doing something like that real bad. I really want to, but
There's the expansion Jaguars or the 2002 Houston Texans.
yes, I should have done something like that. But let's look at their players.
Kyle Cool.
Yes, Kyle is cool apparently. So
That's
but pretty much,
lies and slander. I've never met one cool Kyle.
based. Dang, Kyle. What are you gonna respond to that? Awfully quiet, so I guess he's embracing that he's not cool. So
I'm just giving the thumbs up.
thumbs
The
up.
Fonz.
Okay, I got you. I guess I just can't see you as
Yeah,
well.
because just remember the Fonz is Henry Winkler, and he just plays the lame dad characters now.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah, I've now noticed that. Yeah, he does do that a lot recently.
That being said,
That's
I
really-
love Henry Winkler. He's great.
No, he's hilarious, but that's funny. Yeah, freaking.
He went from the cool guy
Parks and Rec.
to the lame father.
Yeah. In a few episodes in Parks and Rec, I guess granted he's not lame. He's super rich in that, but he does play the father role a lot. But yeah, so
He was good in that Monsters
no
Inc.
beliefs.
show.
Was he?
He's like the boss of
Monsters Inc. show.
the one on Disney Plus.
I haven't
Monsters
seen
that
that
way.
I
yet.
haven't seen it.
Yeah, he's like the boss
So-
of that like the maintenance department.
So, the next team I looked at is the Mississippi Raiders. Ignore that first part because apparently they played last year, and after talking with Jackson anyway, so I could not find information on them playing last year though. So I guess that's inaccurate. But regardless,
I'll be
I'm comparing them to the Los Angeles Buccaneers because they played for a bit and then allegedly went defunct. So I guess if they didn't really go defunct, that's not a fair comparison. But still compare them to an old Bucks team. So, and then the head coach is Eddie Strong. That's for sure a fact. And ignore that team history part. So, but one thing that is accurate is this slide right here. The roster, I couldn't tell you. I looked everywhere. So, I take it that they're not going to last. But you have heard of me. So, so that's what I got for the roster.
All right.
So and then that leads to that slide. So I think that's it for my PowerPoints.
All right. Now we can get on to my teams. So from current slide. Alrighty. So my team is the Columbus Lions. They were founded in 2007. This is their first year in the AIF. Their former leagues are, they were in the World Indoor Football League in 2007, then the American Indoor Football Association from, or maybe that might be this is an abbreviation that I kind of get lost on, because they played another one that had that abbreviation as well, but they're different leagues. 08 to 09. Then they played in the Southern Indoor Football League from 10 to 11, then the Professional Indoor Football League from 12 to 15, then one of the original versions of the AIF in 2016, where they then joined the NAL from 2017 to 2022. They were supposed to be in 2023, but ownership changed, and their new owners weren't as good as their old owners, so they got kicked out, and they had to scramble and join the AIFA in 2023. They have 4 championships. They have 2010 in the Southern Indoor Football League, 2015 in the Professional Indoor Football League. They won the 2016 in the AIF, and I think that was the last year of the AIF, so I think these are the defending AIF champions.
It doesn't count.
It doesn't count. And then the 2023 AIFA. They have a new head coach, Damian Daniels.
That's funny, because if you change the A to an E at the end there, there was an ACU guard named Damian Daniels. So I had to double check for a second. I was like, he just graduated last year. Did he really pull He plays basketball too, so I was like, Did he really just pull a head coaching job for football? So,
Yep,
no,
good for him.
He's
just that good, you know.
He was that good defensively.
All right. So, as you can see, they were a little overmatched for the league they were in.
Dang, just a tad.
Yeah, and this is how I knew your Raiders existed. Because we played them twice last year.
Okay. Yeah, that's awkward. I tried. They did not do a good job of posting their stats and all that, clearly.
Yeah. But they were in the championship. And this is not an air. Every single one of their games was a home game. Because
That's funny.
They got that because
it sounds like it's rigged, if anything.
Well, it's because they were supposed to be in the NAL, so they had so many dates locked up at the stadium that they had to play if they were going to be able to pay back.
No wonder why. So it truly is a Mickey Mouse ring.
Yeah, so the league basically gave them everything they wanted.
Let them win it all.
Yeah.
Got it.
Let them just stomp everybody.
Yeah.
And now I can't 100% guarantee that these are actually the right information to go with these names, because I just kind of searched their names and football, and if this is what came up for them. So hopefully this is the right Joe Newman, who's a quarterback who was all 2019 all SoCon at Wofford, actually. So
what's SoCon?
SoCon.
I knew it.
It's the Southern Conference. It was the SEC before the SEC. A lot of SEC teams played in the Southern Conference. But they have Tremel Gooden as well, who played at Moorhead, Desmond Reese, who played at Tuskegee, and Kyle Griswold, who played Middle Tennessee. This is one I'm not 100% sure is even the same person.
Oh, gosh.
My other team is the Cedar Rapids River Kings. There used to be a team in Cedar Rapids called this as well. I'm not necessarily sure if their team history they're linked, but that team has been dormant for a couple years, so I just considered it a new team. Because I think it was for sale, so. So, no championships, new league. Darren Clark is their head coach, and they didn't have a season last year, so no season to show. For quarterback, so they actually, if this is the same Verlin Reed, was the 2017 IFL Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, not Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. He also went to Ohio State, so.
Ew.
I think he was a wide receiver though at Ohio State, not a quarterback. They had Jordan Thomas, I'm also not sure if this is the same person because it's a common name, so I just chose the smaller the smaller school guy with that name that was most recently playing wide receiver. Dalen Kofer, who was honorable mention All Great Midwest Conference player in 2019. Ricky Neal, who was 2018 All Missouri Valley Football Conference. And then Enoch Smith, who was on the Oklahoma State roster.
With an asterisk, currently owned by Abilene Christian.
Yes. All right, and that is my last AIF team. So, you guys ready to do some pick'ems? Or
Are we doing a week 0? Are we doing a week 0 power ranking on the new league?
We are not doing week 0 on any of the things, and we're not even doing the Aussie League yet because it was we only had 3 games.
Yeah, I meant it as as a joke.
Broken like in the line.
Yeah, like the AIF, the whole brand new league. We just everybody's coming from other places. Rankings. Same thing with the NAL because everybody's just coming from different places. They're not even you can't even really compare them because they're just coming from different apples and oranges. Alrighty, pull up So let's pull up the LFA schedule. So we have the Galgos versus the Raptors. So, yeah, I think I'm going Raptors as well. I don't have any faith in Trayvon Boykin until Trayvon Boykin shows me to have faith in him.
Are you streaming it? I don't think you're streaming it.
I don't have this. I can pull this. Let me.
Oh, okay.
I can pull the schedule over. Okay. I don't even.
Oh, I thought you had the Excel sheet up for the pick'em.
Oh, I can pull the Excel sheet over. Sure. There we go. It's just do you want Raptors or do you want Trayvon Boykin? Kyle.
Ooh, give me Raptors.
The fact that you hesitated. The fact that you hesitated.
I mean, the Raptors have been playing a little bit under my expectation.
Boykin.
Yeah, I know, but even the worst players can have a good game.
Game of the week here, Reyes versus.
You can throw only like 2 interceptions.
I'm gonna rock with the Mexicans here, but
I'm going Reyes here.
I'm going Reyes. Give me Reyes.
Okay.
Nick can pull some points if he gets that right.
I need to pull points.
Fundies versus the Galos Negros. I'm going Fundies.
Fundies nuts.
Wow, imagine if I actually took home teams, I would be in first place right now.
Imagine if you took the Caudillos week 1 too, instead of being an idiot.
Speaking of
no, that one's funny.
Are you going to pick the Galos Negros again?
Please.
No.
No, that's not a smart decision.
No, you're picking the Fundies. You're leeching onto my team.
I have 0 competence in our.
Don't worry, I'm leeching onto your team here because I have no confidence in the Hefes.
It would be funny.
And I showed faith in your Galgos.
Give me the Hefes. Give me the Hefes.
Hefes, okay.
Holy crap. Kyle's probably just going to cancel out.
All right, NOLA versus New England.
That's actually a hard one.
I think New England.
It's hard, but I'm rocking a New England bounce back.
Yeah, give me New England. Yeah.
Chicago versus Old Glory.
Old Glory.
Old Glory. Miami versus Houston.
Houston.
Yeah, Houston.
Houston, yeah.
I have to think about that one.
That one's
Seattle versus Utah.
Give me Seattle.
Okay. I'm going to take my team. You know, I got to homer it, you know?
Yeah. That one was hard.
This one's hard, but I'm going to go LA.
Are you actually...
Okay.
Good Lord, Kyle's losing
Atlanta.
So much. Kyle's losing so many points this week.
Or he's picking up. Somehow.
You got to play risky. You got to play risky sometimes.
This is the time to play. This is the time to play risky because it's the beginning.
Yeah, it's the best time.
You make it pick it back up later.
That's fair.
Kyle's gonna make it back up in the X League.
Give me the Jackals.
Yeah, I'm going Jackals as well. I have no
I
faith.
feel like that
I have
one's a
no
no-brainer.
faith in Anthem.
Yeah, same.
Carlton's at home, so yeah. I'm going
Carlton's at home. Give me Carlton.
Yeah. I think I'm just going home team, everybody.
I'm pretty much probably gonna do the same.
Until I have a better guess on these teams, I'm just doing the Pat method.
I'm with you, Jackson.
I'm not doing that. I'm gonna be a real man and actually pick.
All right.
Co-partner.
Carlton or
Picking the home team
or
usually
Give me
works,
Carlton.
Carlton. All right.
So. Wow, sounds like you're not being a real
Sydney
man right
versus
now, Kyle.
Collingwood.
Give me Sydney.
Hawthorne versus Essendon.
Give me Essington.
I know why you
North
picked
Melbourne versus
I know
Great
exactly why
Western
you picked
Sydney.
Essington.
Give me Great Western.
Thank goodness. You'd have to be an idiot to pick the Roos over the Giants. You'd have to be pretty
St
stupid.
Kilda versus Geelong.
Geelong's a much funnier name, Kyle.
Yeah, Geelong is the better name here, so yeah.
Geelong.
Adelaide versus Gold Coast.
Give me... Wait, what is it? Adelaide? Give me Adelaide.
Didn't Golden Coast win that last game?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Okay.
Western versus Melbourne.
Your loss.
Give me my Demons. Give me my Demons.
Okay, respect.
West Coast versus Port Adelaide.
West Coast is bad, Kyle. I'm helping you out. They're gonna be bad.
Yeah, but Port Adelaide, what's their motto?
We exist to win premierships.
But that makes it funny.
Give me West Coast.
Oh. That one could play out in your favor.
Brisbane
maybe.
Give me my Dockers. Give me my Dockers.
This is actually probably the one game where I could actually pick the.
You know, I was tempted to just pick one away team for the meme.
Like, I know the Giants are going to run over the Roos, but I guess that's also because I know those teams. And then the Blues are pretty obvious, but the rest.
But Brisbane could be good.
Give me the Wranglers.
You know, Wranglers. I'm gonna go Rattlers.
Yeah. I'm going Rattlers.
Kevin Guy. Because they got rid of Drew Powell, so he's not gonna turn over the ball in inopportune times. Massachusetts versus Green Bay. Green Bay.
I hated this matchup.
This matchup's just hard.
Green Bay wasn't as bad as we think. They were just like one game under.
Yeah, I think they were 7-8. I'm gonna go Green Bay at home.
Yeah, give me Green Bay. Give me Green Bay.
I switch mine to Green Bay.
Wow, not taking any risks. Not taking any risks.
I am taking risks. I picked that, and depending on what you guys were going to do, I thought you guys were going to take Mass. I don't like Mass. If Mass didn't do their stupid March 31st April Fool's joke, I'd write it out. But screw them. I thought you guys would take Mass, though. So.
Give me Carolina on this one.
Field is pretty good. You want Carolina?
Yeah, I think Carolina's probably going to be the better team.
I'm going to take my Idaho Horsemen, though.
Take your champs, yeah.
Yeah, my champs versus your losers that keep losing
give me the Bandits.
games.
Give me the Bandits on this one. I feel like it's a pretty straightforward pick.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take
hard to know, but I think the Bandits should take
All right.
Just based on current resumes, I should say.
I'd probably go Lions for this one, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm going Lions because they're my champs. You going Lions? What about you,
Also,
Kyle? You going Amarillo? You gonna fight with your Venom?
Yeah, fuck it. Ride or die. I'll die by the Venom.
I like to point out you're criticizing me for not taking risks. I made my picks before this.
Yeah.
So if anything, that's riskier. So joke's on you.
Nah. My risks are just too good.
All right. You got anything else to say? I guess Nate's got his other things.
I got two things, and then it should be good. So we are going to.
You have your
share my
crazy
screen.
football story.
So crazy football story of the week.
We really need to get a catchy name for this.
Yeah, I'll have to I'll mess with it eventually. But ACU adds former NFL top 5 pick to their coaching staff. Did it just back in January. Added Jason Smith, who was an offensive lineman, drafted 2nd overall by the Rams in 2009. He also went on to play for the Jets and was on the Saints practice squad as well. So we hired him as our tight ends coach, and he went to Baylor. I should probably mention that before the NFL stuff, but it is what it is. In which he was the highest O lineman drafted out of the Big 12 all time. So I thought that was pretty cool. ACU signing some big names, at least compared to our size. So that's a pretty little fun thing, and it gives me higher hopes for our use to tight ends, because our tight end last year sucked. He dropped every ball thrown his way, including basic screens. So,
I don't know if hiring offensive linemen is your
I don't know.
the best
I don't
for
know.
your catching improving.
But
He's gonna block like a motherfucker.
He's probably going to be better for blocking, and I think, if anything, it'll help us stop using our tight ends. I don't know, but I thought that was cool. So, and the other thing, really quick to go over, for starting next, I think March Madness starts next Tuesday. I think it starts the 19th. Regardless, we're going to start this when March Madness starts, and then we're going to end, I think, the night after the
tournament.
The national championship game. So that'll be our national championship game, in quote. But basically, what we're going to do, we're going to take the 64 best, funniest high school, indoor, semi-professional, college and CFL, whatever leagues, football team names. We're going to mash them together in a bracket. Not going to seed them, just going to randomize it. And Jackson and Kyle, you guys will pick which is funnier. And then if you guys have a tiebreaker, I'll be the ultimate tiebreaker. And then whoever wins advances to the next round until we got the funniest name that we picked between those 64 teams.
Okay.
So
they're all going to pick roughly the same number of teams.
If you guys have the time, yeah. Otherwise, I'm sure I can find a lot, but it would be helpful.
Okay.
But yeah, Kyle, if you don't have time, then don't worry about it. With Jackson, I can split it up.
Yeah, because you might have more geological emergencies to take care of.
Yes.
Bro, that was so annoying today.
I'd say
right at 4 o'clock. It was at 3:30. I got a call. Hey, can you go run out to the site? We need to get the sample like right now. It's like lab closes at 5:30, and you need me to do this like now, and then I just have to drop it off in the morning. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Great time.
All right. Anybody? Go ahead.
To say so we don't. If we don't have make sure we don't pick the same team. Just kind of drop like teams you picked as you go.
Yeah, but I'll put them in the
chat. Outside the hash chat. So.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got any closing statements to say? Nope. All right. I guess we'll see you guys all next week.
See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.